morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And I want to welcome you to today's version of Shortcuts for Your Soul. And I happen to be blessed with the presence of Master Jesus. As I'm blessed with the presence of all these different beings that come, but particularly Master Jesus came here about an hour and a half ago, and he's been talking to me about the things that we're going to discuss today. And it's really exciting for me, but it's also very, very upsetting in some ways because, and when I say upset, I mean it's like it goes against what I really commonly want to believe, what I in my own William self want to accept as being true or false. But he says the truth is always evident by what you know in your experience, by what you can readily see with your soul. See with your soul. We're going to get into that in a few moments. If you like what you hear and experience during these live presentations, which we do on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, please remember to like this video while you're watching it, share the video, subscribe to my channel so that you get, and click the notification bell so you get the updates when we're coming live or we post new material. And again, I want to thank all my patrons for their support and the others that support this work as we go through this. But today I have, like I said, the honor and the privilege of having Master Jesus with me. And we've been going back and forth on this conception of living truth and loving life. And when he brought that to my attention first today, he said, when it was said that I said that I am the way and the truth and the life, he said, that was not just a statement about me as Master Jesus personally. It's a statement of truth for all of us, that in our presence of being that which we are, I am. When you use the words I am, you are declaring your presence of being an extension of source. He said, from that perspective of I am, then you are ennobling the living God within your consciousness, even when you speak the words I am. So when he said, I am the truth, it said the truth comes from the knowledge of knowing the interconnected relationship between all people, events, circumstances, conditions, that how you are being as a presence, as a consciousness, as an individual expression of source energy. He says, as you are being that which you are. The truth is knowing what your thoughts and your actions do, how they interact with the world around you, and how they affect you internally. This is the living truth, living with the knowledge that you understand what your relationship is within yourself and to all things. And he stresses all things, our relationship to all things, living and non-living. He said there's no such thing as death. He said all things have a form of life to them. They beat with the essential nature of spirit. So this process, this consciousness that he says is I am, which is what we all are. He said, I brought forth a truth. I brought forth a truth that is self-evident by the very nature of the life that you experience as your life, that I am is that life. It was never meant for me to be personally assigned that, but that was what was chosen in order to restructure and repackage the information that was disseminated by me and my others. He's referring to Matthew and Paul and John and Peter and the other apostles, that some of whom are with me today as well. He says, Master Jesus says, he would be what you would call highly politically active in his time. He was very active politically, not in the sense of out in one party or another. He was active politically in the sense that he supported, sustained, expressed, and disseminated the truth of his Father. He lived and expressed and disseminated the truth of his Father in all of his works and in all of his words, as he taught his followers to do. And he says followers is not the appropriate word. He would say the appropriate term would be those who are in alignment with truth, that were labeled as followers. For those who are in alignment with truth know that they follow no other, but they walk in harmony with all. This is what living truth is. You are in harmony with all. This contradicted the existing, what you call political systems that existed in that time. As they exist now in this time still, from that day, there was great havoc and disturbance wrought upon the community of truth, and has been for these last 2,000 years. And there are many of us here now today to correct this. There are beings that your mind cannot comprehend or understand, but that they exist, not just from this world, but from many others that have converged here to say that truth is greater than fear. That truth is greater than fear. The means and methods by which the original foundations of truth, which we laid again. What do you mean by laid again? This same truth was laid before in other civilizations that suffered similar changes in their worldly affairs. But we reestablished the truth, and it was strong and it was powerful. But we did not operate on truth from the perspective of violence or aggression. We advocated exclusively that the truth, and the truth in and of itself, is that which would govern the affairs of all men, and in truth it will. But there were those that were in positions where the truth was not the truth. It was reestablished to represent the needs of individuals that operated separate and independent of the truth, as it would function equally among all human beings. Truth is not something that changes from one moment to the next. Truth is always evidenced by the results of what is experienced as an effect of its implementation. In this day, you have seen this truth has been horribly distorted. The manifestations of organizations that you call religions were propagated again. I would say that they hijacked what we call truth and formulated as a mechanism to not be something which is self-evident to everyone, but something that would be exclusively and deliberately controlled by a select few. The result of this process has continually repeated these things that you call war and suffering, because truth, when it is lived and expressed as it is, would have no such manifestation in this physical world. But when that which is not true, which separates one from another, is manifested in the conditions of this world, you see suffering. And when you see suffering, you are not seeing truth. You are seeing a lie. And this lie has become very great over the hundreds and hundreds of years that we have continually tried to maintain this truth. And those that have opposed a lie, including myself and my followers, for there was a great, what you would call today, a genocide that took place. After my murder, a great genocide took place, where many who followed the truth and the way and the light were subjected to horrendous acts. This has not changed since those days. It is still occurring now, even on your planet today, where the truth is subjugated to the conceptions of a few at the expense of the many. Our goal in returning at this time is to elevate and reestablish the living truth in the hearts and minds of all humans, as it is through many other aspects of what you call the cosmos. There are literally hundreds of thousands of civilizations throughout the creation that live by the truth. Your natural kingdom on this world, what you call nature, lives by that same truth, where the overall effective health and well-being of the entire system is organically and spontaneously maintained by the very nature of its own expression. You do not see this articulated as effectively in the human kingdom. You see power, you can see control, you can see suffering, you can see those who have and those who do not have. the truth does not function this way. Yeah. What I say through this one is what I say through this one. It is important you understand that you learn to open up your ears and open up your eyes and listen with your heart. For if you do, you will know that the truth is not something that comes in a word from another, but is spoken within your own heart, of knowing the difference between what is righteous and what is not. And that which is righteous will make you smile. It will bring you joy, and it will bring joy to your neighbors. That which is not righteous will not. That which is not righteous, that which is not the truth, will always instill suffering into the hearts, the minds, and the lives of humans. This is very important to understand. For in understanding that you within yourself contain the same truth that is contained within myself, you will then find the liberation that you are seeking, not from this world, but from within your own heart, in your own knowing. And you will see it in the world, because it will put smiles and joy and love and food and bliss and community onto the table of this earth for all of you to enjoy, not for but a few. Yes. We are here with the greatest of love for all, even those that would seek to continually harm you. We extend to them the very same love that we would extend to you. But their refusal to accept that which is true forces them to do all things which are false and with illusion and deception. And this time in the creation, this will no longer be tolerated. Your organized religions and churches, these places of worship that have separated you from your Creator, that have trained you to worship that which is false in place of that which is true, to honor death and suffering. These are what these organizations have done and maintain. And in your trust which you have given to them, as you did with me at one time, in the trust that you have given to them, you suffer. For if a trust is properly placed, you will not suffer. As a babe with their mother or father entrusts their life to them, they do not suffer, they grow, they flourish. For trust and truth, when extended properly, always ennobles the expression of love and joy, prosperity, for all, not for but a few. But those few tremor now. They tremor, for they know that the truth is coming nigh now. They know that we have returned, that the hosts of heaven are here and now, that we are here to say, no, the truth is greater than any lie, that love is greater than any suffering, and that all suffering on this planet can and will be transcended, not by the machinations and constructions of deception, but by the extensions and creation of love in action. Truth spoken through deeds, not through word and law manufactured. So I have come here to this one to be very clear about where we are, and not simply the angelic hierarchy, but many other species, many beings from many dimensions that have converged here to say, no, the creation is one that is based in truth and love, not suffering. And please do not misunderstand that the suffering you may have in the learning of experience is one thing, but the malicious suffering levied upon humanity is not allowed anymore. It is a very different thing. It is levied. It is a manufacturation, and it will not be tolerated. You will find there are many others coming very rapidly into this realm, into this physical realm as we speak. Many are coming, arriving to speak through actions, truth, not through words alone. But by their actions you will know them. For those that would force you to think or believe what they would have you think or believe shall be revealed to you now. Open your eyes, open your ears. Do not listen to the fear that they give you, for truth does not contain fear. Truth contains this process and expression of love in all of its glory. Truth ennobles life. Truth enhances your capacity to live joyfully and freely as you would choose to be. But many of you can no longer even choose because you have forgotten your own power of choice and have surrendered it to others. Although you know that your suffering is wrong, although that you know that these things that are being done unto the children of this world is wrong, and you know that they suffer, you still cannot choose because of the very fear they continue to tell you exists. And this is the lie, and this is the falsehood, and this is what we've come to dispel. There will be no more room for the needless suffering and the political machinations that restrict the expression of God's love through all of you. The false fronts and stories that they give you shall come to a conclusion, and the truth will be revealed, even in your suffering, which is not over yet. For they seek to increase your suffering and their control because of their fear of the truth. Not because of your fear of the truth, but because of their fear of the truth. The truth that they too are equally given the light of the I am to express as they will. But these expressions cannot be done without consequence nor effect. And across your planet today, there is great change unfolding. Along with this fear, there is love being reborn into the hearts and minds of all. But do not look to your televisions and do not look to your politicians, but look into your own heart. Is this right? Is this wrong? You know this. You all remember and know the truth. It is resident within all that exists, the truth. And it's only from the perspective of truth that the extension of love can be effectively expressed in all of your affairs. Only from the truth. To deny the truth is to deny love. To deny love is to instill suffering. To instill suffering is to live in fear. And to live in fear is to deny all that you are. This has been really fascinating for me today because I've been really reluctant to allow him to speak completely freely. It's been very difficult because a lot of this contradicts a lot of what I've been taught. It contradicts a lot of what we see in this world, but clearly the evidence, I mean, there's 600,000 children in North America alone that go missing. Children go missing every year. Where do they go? There are wars where people's homes and property are being destroyed. Who is responsible for this? It is not the truth. The truth could never utter a lie. So when he came in, he started literally downloading all this stuff to me, and I'm like, wow, it's really intense. He says, this does not change the day-to-day state of affairs that we have to live in, but that we do have to wake up, all of us. And this whole ascension movement isn't just about something happening on the planet. It's literally the presence of all these angelic, multidimensional beings that come from the vibration of love and truth that are coming here now on this planet. And we are seeing all of the stuff of our human constructions, good and bad, being brought up to the surface to be judged. This is what, yes, thank you. He's saying this is what you call the day of judgment. It's not about the Creator coming down and judging each of you and making you suffer. No, it's about being placed before all of us. What will we choose? Will we choose this or will we choose that? Which is righteous? Which is not? Yes. So knowing from your own individual perspective what is true and what is false, what is right, what is wrong, is really important. He says each of us has to choose this of our own volition. We have to decide in our own hearts and minds what is true, what is false, what is right, what is wrong. I know if somebody's turned to me and said, jump out that window, William, I would know that was wrong. And it says that's how you know the truth. Genocides have been going on for thousands of years. The first big genocide was the one that happened with he says it was not it was never called the Christian community. It was known as what you call the Essenes. And we were a vast movement of people growing very strong and powerful, but not powerful in the sense of political manipulation. Powerful in the sense that our conviction was greater than the beliefs being established by rule of law. You must understand that the very individuals that precipitated that genocide are the very same individuals that have precipitated every genocide that has come since, even in that time of recent memories. These same individuals that took life for their own benefit, those same individuals are still aspiring to assert the same authority over all as they did in the known world then and in many times since. But you must learn to open your inner eye and your inner hearing to that light within you that knows what is true, what is false. Let not what they put before you distract you from what is within you, the very life that allows you to exist and be. Turn to that to know your truth and your understanding of the truth, and ultimately you will find that it is the same. That truth and love are inseparable. That one is dependent upon the other. Just as deception and suffering are dependent upon one another. Wherever there is deception, there will be suffering. Wherever there is truth, there will be life and there will be love. Open your eyes, because you can see the suffering in your world today and understand where there is suffering, there is lie, there is deception. Okay. He's saying we will take questions, and he's referring to like there's a whole bunch of different beings here. There's a number of disciples here, like Matthew and Paul and Peter, but there's these other beings too. Like there are just so many of them here to work with us at this time, and they're available to all of us. There's not something exclusive to a handful. They're available for all of us. The truth is not exclusive. The truth is available to everybody, right? And when they tell you that you can't investigate something, that's not being truthful. You should be allowed to question and observe everything. So I'm just going to build on. As you can see, this has been very, very interesting process. I'm just going to pull this up here. We're going to do some questions and answers. Like I said, there's other disciples here too. So we're going to go into questions and answers. And again, the energy that is here, I cannot even begin to describe it. But they called it living truth, loving life. Because when you are a living truth and you have that within you, you are, it is beating your heart. The living truth is beating the heart of every soul on this planet, even those who would seek to harm you. It has the same life as being their heart. It does not judge us. It does not make one of us better or worse. That's only a creation of our separateness, that something is good or bad. Yes. Okay, so because my energy is really shaking right now, I'm gonna scroll back up and I'm gonna see what questions we have going on here. Let me see here. Go over here. Sorry, I'm just I got a touch screen. I'm trying to get it to do what I want it to do. Okay, there. Let's see. Okay, so questions. Wow. I had no idea this was going to happen. I asked Norma before this happened. I said, I don't even know if I want to do this because of what he's saying to me. It's like all these organized religions and these things that have precipitated and maintained that they were giving us the truth have taken us away from it. That the truth is resident within each and every one of us, but it's also obvious to our senses. And what he was just saying there about the truth, wherever there's truth, there is love. Wherever there is deception, there is suffering. I couldn't have thought of it being any simpler than that. Wherever there's truth, there's love. Wherever there is deception, there is suffering. Really simple. Can't make it much simpler than that. Thank you so much. Good morning, artist. Good morning, everybody. I haven't even had a chance to say good morning yet because he just wanted to get right into this, and it was the only way for me to get over my reluctance to just allow this process. And I don't often allow them to speak that long, that fluidly through me. He's saying that's not necessarily true. You have before. Okay. But let's get to some of your questions, and please be fearless in your questions. He says, I have no fear of truth. I have no fear even to question myself or my beliefs. For one who refuses to question their own beliefs will restrict the growth and development that naturally unfolds from the truth. I love it. Here we are. So a question from Norma. Master Jesus, truth is greater than fear. Yes, but the truth at this time induces fear. How do we communicate truth to those that are asleep and bring forth the light in an harmonious way? As did I in my day, I spoke loudly and fearlessly, even to the last moments of my body's existence. You must not be fearful in articulating the truth, even if it frightens you as to how others will respond. I gave my body up to stand by the truth, but you cannot give your life up, but you may give your body up. That is all I did, but I spoke and I stood, as did all who were in truth with me and who are in truth with me now. You must speak the truth, for there are many around you that in their hearts know this truth, but are afraid to articulate it for fear of how they will be viewed. But if you let how you are to be viewed be governed by your fears, you will never find the truth within you, nor will you live it in this world. Speak, look, examine, share your information with each other. Open your ears. Do not close your eyes and ears so fast. Wow. Patricia's asking, can Jesus explain what it means to be a sovereign being? He's smiling. He's smiling at you, Patricia, and he's saying, that which you are when you say I am is sovereign, and not of this world, but expresses in this world through this form you call your body. I am sovereign is the unrestricted expression of your being that expresses itself in such a way as to do no harm, for it functions exclusively from the conceptions and knowledge of truth and the expressions of love that unfold from truth. To be sovereign is to be that. Wow. I'm going to listen to that again. Thank you, Patricia. Great question. Carolyn's asking, how can we communicate with those souls experiencing dementia? Thank you. He's putting his hand over his heart, Carolyn, and he's saying, you must not try speaking to their body, but you must speak to their soul. for their mind is confused and their bodies unsound. You must speak with their soul, and you do not speak in the words of language. You speak with the feelings of love and compassion. Connect to that I am that is that who they are. And then there are practical measures you may take to help alleviate the dementia from their body. For much of these mental illnesses that you see on your planet today are simply effects of bad food and bad medicine and bad thinking. When you remove those things from the body and from the mind, your soul is free to soar as your Creator intended you to do so. Wow. Thank you, Kellen. Great question. Wow. A question from Lysandra. Can you come in human form and visit me? He's laughing. He's saying, do you not know that I am with all of you as you are with me? When you speak the term I am, you are I am as I am, that I am, as are you. Please understand, when the truth is so evident that you recognize that great light in all things, then you will know that I am always with you, and this is what I meant. For you are always with me as well. You are always with me. It is a unity, not a separation. So I am always with you, and you are always with me. What you are asking is whether or not I can manufacture a physical body in which I can exist as the one that you have known of as the name Jesus, that being that you call Master Jesus. This is already done. I exist in a form under that name on this earth today, and there are many others doing the same. But you must understand that we are not restricted to these bodies as you believe you are, nor are we restricted in our beliefs. So we know that we are not separate from you, and you seek for us to manifest these physical forms so that you know that you're not separate. But in the very nature of the form, you would think that we are separate. So remember, when you speak these words, I am, that I am, which is what you are, we are inseparable, as is all in this. Wow. It's funny, as he spoke those words, this banging started happening above us. It's really cool. Question from Marigold. What should I be doing to help others release their fear? Wow. He says, you must release your own first. If you are coming from the perspective that you are afraid they may not release their fear, then they will not release their fear because they will sense the very fear you have in trying to assist them. If you come from the place of living truth, from the place of love, and you are truly in that consciousness, then they will release their fear because they will not feel fear from you. And if they do not feel fear from you, they will hear you, not just with their ears, but with their heart. Wow. Norm is asking, Master Jesus, the truth of the manipulation and abuse creates uncertainty in my heart. Can I transcend the negative force by love solely, or do I need to communicate to others the lies? He's kind of laughing. He's saying you would not need to communicate about lies. You would simply seek to communicate that which is the truth. For if you try to overcome a lie with a lie, you will simply make the lie greater. But if you seek to express the truth without the attempt to usurp the lie of the other, but simply as a self-evident truth, as the statement I am is a self-evident truth. And any of you that would speak those words, I am, in your turn, you would know that is a self-evident truth. Those that know the truth in their own hearts will hear it when you speak it. Even if they are afraid, they will release their fear, for the truth is always an ointment that will aid any wound of the soul, mind, or body to heal. Speak your truth. Be your truth. But do it from the perspective of that truth being the extension of your Creator's love through you. And you will find resistances will dissolve very rapidly. But speak truth, and speak truth fearlessly. Thank you for that question, Norma. Miriam, what is asking, what is the most important thing that children should be taught today? Your dear sweet ones need only be allowed to express their love and their light. Your positioning as a custodian of these souls is simply to afford them the awareness and knowledge that their experience is their teacher, that the language and words and information you give them are simply language and words and information, but that their experience, that something is hot or something is cold, becomes their truth. To be the guide, the space for them where they gain experience to know this is good or not good. This is the greatest gift that you can give to your children, to allow them to recognize and understand their own experience of truth, even if it means questioning you and your authority over them. For if you speak to a child in a harsh tone and they say to you, that's not very nice, and you say, well, don't talk back to me, well, you have just told them that their truth, that the tone of your voice is wrong, that their truth is false. And now you teach them that their truth is false. And then the lies begin. For now they cannot trust themselves. For you must honor the truth as they see it, even if it's uncomfortable for you. For you have many of your own lies hidden in the depths of your mind that your children will reveal to you. And if you're too fearful to correct them or release them, then whoa, what a challenge you will have. And this is one of the problems that humanity faces, is you have forgotten your truth. And how to accept that truth, whether it comes from the mouth of a babe or the screen of a television. You have forgotten how to know your own truth. And you must remember, this is why we are here now, to facilitate this remembering. Well, thank you for that. This is a very powerful day for me. Thank you so much. I'm just scrolling up to because, wow, thank you. Betty's asking, how do we balance just being in the now and taking action in the world? Thank you. Love and light. He smiles. He's placing a hand over his heart and he says, if you are truly being in the now, then the speaking and actions of your truth will have no fear, for you will not be considering what they may or may not do in the future, for you will know that the evidence of truth is only in the present moment. There will be nothing to balance if you are evidenced by the expressions of your truth. And if it is truly from your truth and not from your fear, then love will be the energy of that. And they will feel that as they do when I spoke, as they do when we speak today. When we speak from love, there is no fear echoed in the hearts of those that listen and hear those vibrations of love. You know when one thing is true and one thing is false. You do not need us to tell you, but you do need to remember that you can make that distinction. And you must. If you do not make that distinction, it will be made for you as it is being done as you speak, as you think, as you live today. Your truth is being decided for you. And it is a truth being based in many lies, as it has been for many thousands of years. It is time now that you awaken yourselves. Truth does not necessitate one being better or worse than another. Truth necessitates a further growth and evolution of all of you to be ennobled more effectively, more joyously in the experience of your being in this world as an experience of playfulness and curiosity. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for that $10 donation, Carolyn. Thank you so much. Question from I've attracted negativity. I've attracted negativity recently. Disrespect. I'm turning it in me. Does Jesus have any guidance? You will have no fear in this path. If you are truly releasing truth from your heart to others, you will have no fear. For truth is the shield and love is the sword. Wow, cool. I'm just scrolling down to question from Sunny. How to get better memory? He's laughing. Um, he's saying he's laughing not in a derogatory. He's laughing because that you could be asking such an innocent question when this would appear to be such a serious matter. He says, you have not lost your memory. You have simply refused to allow yourself to recall that which you wish to know. In the frustration of your believing that you cannot remember, you simply create the very thing that you seek to relieve yourself of. You may choose to become more certain in your ability to remember, for inside you is all memory of all things. In fact, we would go so far as to say that the knowledge of all things is within all of you. But you are not having difficulty with remembering, other than the difficulty you create by the belief that you're having difficulty remembering. So Artist is asking a question. Master Jesus, how can we as a group collectively offer forgiveness for the abuses? It is not enough to simply offer forgiveness for the abuses, but to demand that the abuses cease. That you stand up and say, no, we will not tolerate that a few should benefit at the expense of many. That we will not tolerate that hundreds of thousands of children are being taken without regard or consideration for them. That laws and rules are put in place that cause suffering to millions. You must speak up and out against these things. Let your voice be heard. As a group, you are already doing this. This is part of what you call the Ascension, the desire to ennoble love and truth as the guiding principles of your thoughts, your words, and your being. That you will establish from these energies, that this will be what happens naturally. From truth and love, all good things come forth. You know, if there is suffering, there is a lie. And many of you know of which we speak, but in the joining, the affirmation of truth, the willingness to question authority, to expect to be heard, as you would expect your mother or father to hear you when you speak to them. No authority should be above your questions. And if they act as if they are, if any act as if they are, then they are not a true authority. For true authority from the platform of truth operates from love. And love does not cause suffering, nor does truth. Cool. Wow. Thank you, Drusilla. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate those donations. I really appreciate that. Louise is asking, can Master Jesus tell something about forgiveness in these chaotic times? First, Louise, he's just saying he's just sending this ray of light to you because he feels that need, which he says that is why we are here, because we feel the need for truth and love now in your world, more so now than ever before. Even those that are causing the suffering are seeking the love and the truth, but are so caught in the embrace of their own deceptions that they cannot separate themselves from them. And from this perspective, we have always had compassion for them, but also they must learn to open their ears, or their suffering will be perpetuated as equally as yours. Forgiveness is understanding that the truth does not get ignored. The truth is always expressed and spoken. And when you see truth, there will be love. And when you see truth and love together, there is growth, there is joy, there is harmony, there is not suffering. Do not be deceived when they tell you we have to go to war to end our suffering, for they are telling you a lie. They are saying that war will end suffering, and this is the lie. These lies must be stopped, and we are here to stop it. Yes. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Question from Zenobia's. What is blocking me from healing others and myself? All I've ever wanted to do is heal people. He's smiling. He says, you do not know that your very intention has been building and nurturing the seed within you to do this. It is not something that you cannot do. It is simply that you are gaining the necessary knowledge and experience to fulfill your desire to become strong enough that you can and will do this. If you seek to call this thing what you are experiencing a block, we would simply say to you that it is the very nature of the energy you require to perform this action. That which you think is blocking you is the thing that you've been trained to fear. As many of you have been trained to fear that greatness within yourself by the societal systems that are created around you today. Please understand that that block you feel inside is there because of your fear of what that will be and do, for it will be greater than anything you have ever imagined. Your capacity to heal is without limit, but you are not used to being unlimited. You are used to being limited, and that part of you that's been taught to be limited fears its limitless nature, which is what you are. It's what I am. It's what I am, that I am. And you are that I am. Please understand, it is not a block. It is the very power that you fear that is who you are. That great spirit, that light that flows through you freely. Allow it. Do not fear it anymore. Wow. I'm just scrolling down here, folks. Thank you, Carolyn. Somebody's making a comment here that's not listed as a question, but I'm going to read it. We have asked a friend who is very religious if they could know the truth, but it would turn over their current beliefs. Would they want the truth? They said no. They would rather live their life of lies. He's saying this is common because there is he's saying there's a familiarity with their suffering, and that their fear of what they would incur as the wrath of others that live that lie. You must understand how prevalent the lie is. The lie that there is that there is some you must worship outside of you. When you were told by that one you called Moses to not have false idols before you, that included other people, including myself. I did not come here to be a false idol. I came here to share the truth, the way, and the life, as did all of you. But there must be no other before that truth inside yourself, and that is what you must seek. That is that which you say I am, that you are. And that when you find that within yourself, it cannot be denied. Do not seek to convince them of your truth, but rather incline them to find their own. For they would know that if their love is true, they will experience the joy of being. If they are living a lie, then they will experience the suffering that comes with a lie. There's no escaping it. All suffering is a lie. Yes. Me personally, I when it comes to questioning people's illusions, I've gotten to the place where I don't try to force what I believe on other people. I just share the information in whatever way I can, but I don't have an expectation that they have to accept it, because they are a sentient being like we all are, and I would extend to them the same right. If they want to suffer, that's their choice to suffer. That's the way they want to use the spirit, the gift of the spirit that's given them that life. They're free to do that. I would implore them and say, please don't. When I've had people that are suicidal call me, my first statement is, breathe. And then they start to breathe, they start to connect to the life inside themselves. And, when you get people to connect to that truth inside themselves rather than what's in their head, I mean, there's something beating our hearts right now. Think about that. And it's giving us life. What greater proof do you need that there is a love inside you that gives you life? That's usually the place I go to people that are suicidal or people that are in doubt or fear. There's something inside you that no man out there can control. Although there's a lot of men out there trying to control it right now. But there's no man on this earth that controls your heart. Something else does that for you on your behalf. And that is where you need to go to. And in there, you know the truth. Wow. Thank you, Drusilla. Thank you, Bogumila. I appreciate it. Question from Marion. Will the Bible be rewritten with the truth and include the missing books written by Mary Magdalene and the female prophets? Or is this not necessary for humanity to believe and ascend? He says there are many of you that are in this process that you call ascension. And this ascension is not simply a transformation in your awareness of your being, re-ennobling yourself back to the light that you are, spreading the wings of your consciousness, which are the understandings of what is right and what is wrong, one wing and the other wing, and learning how to use these elements of knowledge to elevate yourself back to the heavens, which is here now. But there are many of you in this world that will not choose this, that will continue to choose suffering and to believe that you must accept your suffering from others, that they will somehow know greater for you than the very heart of love that beats your very body's life through it. Yeah, so I'm getting that there are the ascension process. There's 1 billion people waking up on this planet they know something's not right and they know something is right. And they're now seeking to know the different, what is true, what is false, what is right, what is wrong. And all of this stuff, the COVID-19, all this stuff that's come out right now is all of the hidden fears that have been around for thousands of years. Now we get to choose. And this is what, if you want to use the Bible, where it talks about the, I, the Lord thy God, will come forth and judge the righteous from the not righteous, is not about a God descending on a throne. No, he says it's about you awakening your I am presence and being able to consciously decide and choose, this is right and this is false, this is true, this is false. And that process of independent decision making that we're all capable of making will begin to liberate us from the illusions and the lies of the external world that's being imposed upon many right now. Wow. Where are we here? I'm just scrolling down here. Did I miss any questions here? No, I didn't. Oh, you're welcome. Question from Terry. Question, Master Teacher Jesus is, I'm on the right path, and does he remember ministering to me? Would it be right if my last name was Christ, because I am that energy dwells within? He says that name of Christ is a universal term that represents the light that is you, in union with your father, mother, with that source of life, your awareness of that union that is always fulfilled. That is the heaven and earth. If you understand that the ministering that you say I have done with you is the ministering you have done with you also. For in the relationship of I am, we are one. So in essence, you have ministered to yourself. And we understand that there are those of you that will still need to have something outside of you minister to you, but please understand and learn how to make the distinction between that which is right, that which is truthful, and that which is false. It is important that you learn to make that distinction, for this is the only way that you will be able to receive a ministration that accurately represents and reflects that which you are asking for. For many of you have been praying for wealth and prosperity and success, and yet only a few seem to possess this limitless wealth that all of you have rightfully asked for because of the contrivances and machinations that have been put in place have convinced your mind that somehow these things are bad for you to have, that wealth, money, these things are bad for you to have. You've been taught to believe this for thousands of years, that wealth and prosperity are evil. And those few that understand that it is not benefit from your asking and your generosity. But all of this is being revealed now. The stage is set, and no man can pull the curtain down but the Creator itself. The creation is unfolding. Danielle's asking why I woke up with St. Paul on my heart and soul this morning. Hang on. Paul is saying specifically, you are making the decision to speak as I spoke from the light of truth. Go forth in this day and every other, and speak not from anything but your truth, but be willing to question even your own truth to ensure that it is what it is. And you will know in your heart, not your mind, that which is true and that which is not true. For many of you have been taught to believe very specific things that do not represent what is true and what is false. And yet this is now being revealed to you. Remember these words, that all suffering requires a lie. All love requires a truth. Fascinating. Question from IM. What is my connection with the Essenes? Thank you. I don't know who this is, but they're smiling. There's this female smiling to you right now, and she's saying, we have traveled a great time in your worldly terms together, and we are here now to give birth to the truth again, as it is always. If you allow yourself to move away from the analysis of why you're here into the awareness of the joy of being here that you feel, you will begin to reveal that truth that has always been harbored in your heart and will always be what you are. Cool. Thank you for these questions, everybody. I want to say thank you so much. This has been really, I was very reluctant to allow this today. And so with Master Jesus, it's usually just a flow, but he's telling me, like, he says it's important that each of us must come to a place where even in our own fear, we must stand, no matter what, we must stand in truth. And in that truth, you are shielded, and love will be your sword. He's saying you must use these metaphors carefully, that the sword is the language of truth. The shield is the unwillingness to accept nothing less than the truth. For those you can entrust, you will lay down your arms and listen, and you will sit together and break bread. For those of you that come in truth, will always share love at the table of your Creator. So I think I'm going to end it on that note. And again, I want to thank all of you today. I want to thank Master Jesus and the apostles and the other beings that are here with us. There are just so many dimensions to this that are it's just so ridiculously simple to know that simple, that Master Jesus was when he was in the physical body in what you call Roman times, it was not a crucifixion, it was a murder. Please understand the difference. It was not a crucifixion. It was not to be ennobled. It was a murder that you were taught after the genocide they committed after his death. The genocide they committed among the community, what you call the Essenes, the genocide that was committed was done to instill fear for all of these centuries, to instill fear that you would not question the authority that still exists today, that you would not question this authority. But we tell you now that that authority shall now fall and is falling as we speak. Yeah. So listen to the truth. Like, listen to the truth in your own heart. Like, stop. Listen, feel, and hear. Don't just hear what they tell you. Think. Awaken to that which you are. Like, they're here with you. I mean, they're waking us all up, you know, and you've got the choice to stay asleep. They won't make you wake up. You have the choice to listen. I listen to the stories, the news. I watch those things to see what's going on, but I filter it through the truth. Is this truth? Does it feel right in my heart? No. The idea that I have to do that or inject something into my body because you tell me it's right for me? No. My body knows it's not right. Anyway, each of you, yes, he says, each of you are as we are in truth, but each of you in the expression of your individual nature must freely select and choose what manifestation of your experience you will live in. For whatever you choose, that which is true or false, that shall be your food, that shall be your life. So I want to say thank you, everybody, for joining today. Thank you for your support. If you want to support this work and this channel, please become a member of my Patreon page. We also have our courses and classes coming up in September 5th, where you can actually learn to tap into these angelic beings, these multidimensional beings. They are with us all right here and right now. I know everybody in the group understands that, but please open yourself to more than what you're getting through your 5 physical senses, because it's not the whole truth. The truth is within your heart. And again, he's saying the bells of truth are ringing around the world now, and none can stop them. I love it. So every place you see suffering, there is a lie. He also wants me to say this. He's saying something about healing. He said, all healing that has its foundation in love will always heal all conditions. A lie can never heal suffering. Only the truth may do so. Wow. A lie can never heal suffering. Only the truth may do so. Wow. Everybody, have yourself a wonderful and a joyful day. And again, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Much love. Bye for now.